Breaking Bad, episode 513, Tohali. I don't know how to say it. Walter says it in the episode, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, it was a pretty great, for like the first half, it was a pretty great cat and mouse episode where Walter's trying to draw Jesse out so that he could kill him. And Jesse is working with Hank to try to get evidence against Walter. And then in the last 20-30 minutes or so, it became an amazing episode, which will be one of the best in the show's history, in my opinion, where it just becomes a crazy roller coaster ride where presumably Walt meets his doom, but things don't quite work out like that. So about the halfway point, they are trying to figure out how to get Walter. Their best idea is trying to find the money, but they have no idea where it's at. No one else does either, neither does Huel. So they come up with a pretty brilliant plan of tricking Walter into thinking they know where it's at. And once that scene starts, it was, like I said, a total roller coaster ride. He sees a barrel full of cash, and then Jesse calls him, and the conversation as Walter is just speeding like crazy to get to the desert to save his money is great. And then you just had one hell of an ending there where, yeah, it ended on a cliffhanger, but at least they gave us a little bit of the action that is going to take place. They could have just stopped it with the standoff. But yeah, that moment, the last 10 minutes or so in the desert, was really great. Trying to figure out what's going through Walter's head, and the look on Jesse's face of still really fearing Walter, and then once he thinks they got him, of being just so happy that they got him, and Hank getting his moment of happiness too, and calling Marie to tell her that he got him. But we all knew it was coming. At least I did. We knew that. Here's the weird thing about that whole desert scene. I figured once Walter showed up and no one was there, that he would have figured it out in his head, like, oh, they got me. Like, Jesse was working with Hank. He got me to confess everything. That's why he hung up. Nobody's here. Like, oh shit. But Walter was so caught up in the moment, and so he didn't know what was going on. So he calls them. I guess Walter assumed he was going to get killed by Jesse, which I guess makes sense considering the threats that Jesse levied against him. But then when they show up and he sees that it's Hank and Gomez and Jesse, if I'm Walter, I would have been like, get over here quick and kill these people. And I thought that's what he was gonna do. It's Walter, but ultimately, I think he had a moment where he realized that the jig was up, and they had that awesome shot before they went to commercials where they're just looking at Walter's face, and you could just see he had accepted defeat at that point. So they're coming back from the commercials and they're like getting ready to, arrest Walter, and he comes out and gives himself up. And I knew no matter what, those fucking Todd and his fucking uncles and the Aryans were going to show up. But what I didn't know is whether Walter, in my head, I'm still Walter called them back and was like, yo, get back here, But we know he didn't do that, because when they do show up, as Walter's in the truck, Walter does everything he can to warn them. He's screaming at Hank, he's screaming at the guys, don't do it. And of course, nobody listens, and the shit hits the fan. And yes, it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger there where everyone was just dying to see next week, but that's a show well done, very well done. I did think it was a little absurd that these 10 guys open fire on Hank and Gomez and no one got hit yet, and Jesse's trying to get out of the car, and my one buddy said as soon as Jesse gets out of the car, they're all going to aim for Jesse first, probably. or at least if he did before, shit just went crazy. But that was. I'm gonna keep it short, and I don't know what else to say except what I said. Pretty crazy last 30 minutes of that episode, and it's coming up to a very satisfying conclusion, at least so far. As for what happens next, they showed nothing in the previews, so except you heard audio of Skyler trying to call Walter going, "Yo, where are you?" And my best guess is Jesse and Hank and Gomez ain't walking away from that desert. Walter is going to live, obviously, but in what capacity? Will he just be on the run from there on out? Will he be in possession of Todd and his uncles and being forced to cook meth? It's a big possibility. Because I think after he told them not to come out, he's like, never mind, forget it. I think they're like, we're going anyways because we need this guy to show us how to do the meth right. Anyways, that's my thoughts on it. An amazing episode. I think one of the best in the series, and very, very exciting last 10, 20 minutes. And the wait for next week begins now, and it sucks. Anyways, thanks for watching. I apologize. Last week, I didn't do a video for Rabid Dog, that episode, because I was on vacation. I was in another country. I had no internet, and I didn't get back till like Monday at like 2 in the morning. So at that point, I just watched the episode and enjoyed it and figured whatever. Of course, I liked it, but anyway, but that's my thoughts on tonight, and we only have 3 left, so let's savor these last few episodes. All right, later, guys.